Right, hello world. Here we have a 2014 Dodge Caravan. This should apply from 2008 to 2020. So go ahead and remove that PCV hose and the intake boot. I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. So get that out of the way. Now disconnect the throttle body connector. Now I'm going to bring you over here because you have to disconnect this vacuum line, remove that harness a little bit, and at least disconnect that map sensor as well. Just gotta be gentle with it. Now there is going to be one bracket right by where I am right now and one towards the front of the vehicle. I'm going to try to show as best as I can. Remove this other PCV hose. And this vacuum line that goes to the brake booster. So that's out of the way. Now you should be able to see that bracket right back here. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off this nut and then we'll come back to it because there's another one that kind of gets in the way. So all you want to do is, you don't have to take off the bracket, but you do want it loose so that it can slide back and forth. Or you can just take it off. Whatever fancies you. But anywho, here is the front one. I'm going to go try to get this out of the way. And down here is that one. Actually two. So if you listen to the rear one, if you listen to the rear one enough, then you shouldn't have to loosen the front ones. Now time to loosen up the upper plenum of this manifold. There are 7 bolts. They don't come out, so they stay within the manifold. And back to this rear bracket, see there's another bolt. So this, I just leave it loose so I can move the manifold backwards and out, which you'll kind of see later. Alright, let's change positions. Alright, camera is fixed. Hopefully. Alright, we're good. Now, see, make sure everything is off. And we're going to play the wiggle game a little bit. Make sure that's out of the way. Lift up, and I guess from the way you're standing, you'd be pushing forward a little bit. There you go. And out. Look at that. Let's be careful with this. Not get it in the plenum or the runners. I'm going to go ahead and cover this up so nothing gets in there. And then we'll get back to that. Now you can start with the front, you can start with the rear. Obviously right now I'm going with the rear. I just want to get those coils out of the way. Just wiggle them and pull up. Is it long enough? It should be. I'm gonna get a little extension. So you can use a 3-4 inch extension. So I'm just gonna break these loose and then finish them off with my electric ratchet. because it's so much faster. See, I don't even put it in all the way. It's still going. Get that out. And I'm gonna do the front. Also, these bolts, they don't come out from the coil. I mean, they can, but you can loosen them enough to where they still stay in there. That way you don't lose any. Alright, breaking loose these front ones. Trying to go as quickly visual wise so this video doesn't get too long. So those are off. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the Plenum gaskets. If you're doing this job, I would definitely replace these. If you don't, then there's a probability that you're going to have a vacuum leak. I think one customer, he did his own work, didn't do a bad job, but then he had a vacuum leak, and I asked him, did you replace the Plenum gaskets? And he said, no. Are you supposed to? And I said, well, yeah, especially if you're at a certain mileage and haven't replaced them. So anywho, those are in. I'm going to cover it back up and continue with the spark plugs. And see, so I put a smidge, a line, and then put it in, and I'll show you why. Because you'll see that right now, once I take it back out, you'll see that all the anti-seize spread throughout the threads. See? And so that just works. It just works. You have to put too much. But what you don't want to do is smear. You know, obviously this is exaggerated, but don't do this. Don't be that person. Looks like I'm putting peanut butter on a sandwich sort of deal here. But yeah, don't do this. Alright, that's in. That's in. Here we go. Put these guys back inside. Boom, 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 boom. But let's see. Quite a few people have asked me about misfires. Depending on the mileage, this vehicle, the ignition coils will usually be the first culprit. I have hardly ever seen a fuel injector be the problem. So it all depends, really. I'm not going to say this is what it will be, this is what it won't be, because every situation is going to be different. But this engine I've worked on the most, so I just know. Alright, upper plenum is back in place. I'm gonna connect some of these guys. You can do it whichever order, you know, is easiest for you all. Throttle body is connected. I'm gonna double check that these are tight. And yes, use your hand. And be gentle, because if you strip these threads, they are plastic, so you're gonna have to replace the whole upper and lower part of the manifold. Now let's get this guy in. See that little C? It goes into this grommet right here. Just press backwards and get that in there. Yeah, too easy, right? Too easy. And that's pretty much it. Just gotta get this guy back on. Put all the covers, and we're set. So, good luck on your ventures. Hopefully, nobody has too hard of a time. And yeah, thanks for watching. Alright, I'm outies.